Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about issue number 2 of Black Panther: The Blood Hunt, written by Cheryl Eaton and art by Farid Karami. But before we dive into the story, I want to ask you a favor. If you enjoy this video, please leave a like and a comment to help the channel grow. So with that said, this issue opens eons in the past during the first blasphemy. And when we get there, we see a chained woman crying while running away from a creature. Now, quickly after arriving, they realized they should not have come because the stranger said there was a bounty to be found on the other side of the river. He even showed them ornaments the likes of which they had never seen, and it was more brilliant than gold and stronger than iron. He said it could all be theirs if they were to follow him. So of course, they did, but they did not know the metal they were looking for would serve as their chains, for that metal was vibranium. So with that realization setting in, the woman who was trying to escape called out to the god of the moon, Khonshu, to protect her and to guide her to freedom. But unlucky for her, Khonshu had no claim on where they were. Because the creature that grabbed her stated that the land and the temple they are located on belonged to him and him alone. And with no hesitation, under the light of the moon, the creature eliminated its prey. And as for her blood, it belonged to it alongside the land's metals to be used as it saw fit. So as he dragged her body back into its domain, we skipped high above in the clouds overhead, where we saw Khonshu looking down upon the temple. Because according to Khonshu, none of his followers' blood will be shed in vain without their deaths being avenged. So right as Khonshu appeared ready to do combat, Bast appeared and warned him to stay his hands. Now Khonshu obviously wanted to do his thing and bring the demon down a notch by taking him out, but Bast rightfully informs him that if he does this action, it could be seen by the other gods as Khonshu overreaching. And as a side effect, it could spark a civil war between the gods. So following this event, we jump back to the current day with T'Challa battling against Bast in Wakanda's nature preserve. And according to her, he is disappointing her, so with that out there, the goddess transforms into her humanoid form and tells our fallen hero to follow her. Now on a side note, I really love how the gods are drawn and depicted in this issue, and if I could have it my way, I would have a comic book based just on the African gods' interactions. But anyway, getting back to the story, we see the Black Panther walking alongside the goddess he serves. And she tells him that these waters were once barren lands, until Anuket flooded the region as a gift to Wakanda. Now this was done as a consolation for having the realm left unprotected. So ever since that day, the Orisha and the Ennead vowed it would never happen again. And yet here they are, the last of the first is poisoned with the venom of Varney due to a lack of diligence. Now with that said, T'Challa asked his goddess what exactly does the last of the first means, because Blade called him that exact thing in a previous issue. To which Bast responded by saying that is who he is, it is who his people are, because his people were the first people of this land. Now Bast didn't know that mankind would be so inquisitive as to inspect the darkest wilderness. Because the people of Wakanda's quest for knowledge was initially their downfall, but in time it became their greatest triumph. Because long ago, Khonshu was the one who discovered that the first had been enslaved by Varney. And that wasn't all he did, because he also stole the vibranium from the fires of Ta and dared to use the metal for shackles to bind mankind and to create a gate from which to ascend to godhood. Now the demon toiled for many nights under the cover of darkness, but when that shining metal shared the light of the full moon, Khonshu was made aware of Varney's machinations and was compelled to intervene, because such a desecration could not go unavenged. And so, when Ra submerged once more in slumber, those who guarded the night gathered beneath the cresting moon to have their conversation. And during this conversation, Khonshu informed Ta that the demon stole his metal and is using it to ascend to godhood. And shortly after that, Gikri, Bast, and Eshu also decided to aid in this battle to rid the world of Varney's terror. Now following this, Bast went on to say, their big mistake was that they focused on Varney's defeat rather than his destruction. Because his body was never recovered, nor was his temple. So because of their carelessness, it left the possibility for his return open. And now he has taken advantage of that very same opportunity. The same opportunity that Bast hopes isn't open for long. Now with that story out there, Bast walked to a body of water and called upon her sister, Anuket, to help. And just like that, the beautiful goddess emerged from the water in all her glory, ready to aid in any way possible. With the two sisters talking face to face, Bast informed her that Varney had returned and she wanted to fight his blaze with her flood. So with that said, Bast told her sister that she needs her to destroy Varney's temple quickly before his children learn of his true power. Now this caught Anuket off guard, because that was what she suggested eons ago before it was cast into the dark waters far past her dominion. So with the structure now out of her reach, Anuket asked Bast who she had in mind to destroy it, to which she responds by saying T'Challa, her Black Panther. So with the decision made, Anuket took a hold of our hero and dived deep into the water, but not before informing her sister that this should be a lesson about closing loose ends. So as they swim deeper and deeper into the water, we transitioned over to Shuri having a conversation with the man himself, Dr. Doom. And he is currently surprised by the lack of knowledge regarding T'Challa's whereabouts, because Wakanda is known for tightening up loose ends. To which Shuri states that they are currently going through trying times and have a lot going on, because at the end of the day Wakanda is a free nation. Now this sparks Doom to ask how free is Wakanda if their elites are seeking assistance from Doom to help them escape. So with that said, he states that isn't Latveria the true free nation, because Doom's people have no fear of the darkness, yet Wakanda comes begging Doom for protection. Because the only protection they have had been hastily cobbled together in the form of an artificial sun that fails to provide adequate protection. Now with that statement, Shuri stated that he had done a formidable job in keeping the energies of the Dark Force dimension at bay, so because of that she could admit that Latveria is the safest region on Earth. So because of that, Doom responded by saying then she could see why Doom would not be willing to subject his land to the potential risk of refugees, since they have stated that they are unaware of her brother's location and condition, because T'Challa serves as an errant factor. So because of that, they shall not be allowed to breach Latveria's borders only for a compromised king to arrive at their heels. So until they can be more forthcoming regarding T'Challa's status, Doom will consider these talks as concluded. So with that statement, Doom exited the call as we transitioned back to the past. And when we get there, we see Bast and Gekreed arriving at Varney's domain. And as they traveled, a vampire's hand emerged from the earth. And quickly after, a horde of vampires arrived on the scene. And just like that, the battle between gods and vampires was on. So as the battle raged on, both Khonshu and the other gods arrived and proceeded to destroy all that stood before them. And during said battle, Khonshu noticed a burning flame within the temple that led Koko to journey within to face the demon himself. So as the two opposing sides battled it out for the faith of humanity, Bast entered the temple and freed the humans within and hurried them to safety. A safety that was led by Black Panthers. So as all of them stood under the moonlight, Bast informed the people that they must follow the Panthers west for 3 days and then wait for an additional 3 days before returning. Now according to her, they will return because Bast doesn't command cowards, so if they trust her, the gods will promise to all of them that they will never wear chains again and Inyad and the Orisha will see to it. So from that day forward, Wakanda was free. Now with that history lesson out of the way, we jump over to T'Challa following Anuket. And during his journey he got to see exactly what he was thinking while following her. Because he states, she is strong, too strong for him to battle. And so he accepted the will of a god he did not believe in, even if his blind faith led to his blind death. But see, death is not what Anuket offers, but instead she dangles a new form of life before him. The enduring blood of the river goddess. And in that blood, T'Challa could sense her very essence around him in the dark water before he could even taste it. And after he drunk her blood, he immediately understood the blood coven's ferocity. Because to feed from a god is to be one with immortality, if only for an instant. Because it creates a desire that could force someone to end the world just to fulfill the need to feed from the divine. And once he was done and she breaks away from him, he notices that he has already been changed. Because the craving of her blood has marked him and bound him to yet another supernatural being. Because in the end, Anuket have made him stronger and more resilient, but what T'Challa really wishes for is to be free. But see, freedom is not given, it is earned, and won in a battle of wills. And that battle has just begun, because on the last page, we see T'Challa surrounded by the forces of Atlantis. So with that said, this issue comes to an end. Now with that out there, if you want to stay in the loop about any individual storyline, then how about you hop over to the playlist section down below or in the link cards above to get all caught up on everything on my channel. So with that established, I hope you enjoyed this video and please don't forget to leave a like and a comment if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.